For Bryce Hall, yeah, it's been a little while since we've talked about him, and for a while there I thought, oh, Bryce seems different now. A lot quieter, not in drama, and a lot of people were starting to like him. But man, has that flipped all the way upside down now that this has been floating around the internet the last couple of weeks. Bryce got himself into some major trouble recently with comments that he made about TANA MONGEAU, and it's so bad. Like, I don't know why he would even say this out loud and think, yeah, that's something that I'll get away with saying. But he certainly did not get away with saying it, and he's getting some major hate, and TANA has even responded. So, a little bit ago, Bryce Hall was on the Zach Sang show, and I just never watched it till now after seeing Tana's response recently. It popped up on my TikTok, and I was just in utter shock, and I was sad for her, because during this episode, Bryce is asked if he's ever hooked up with someone because of who they were, but he wasn't attracted to them. And he says yes. And he says it's Tana. Like, why would he say that?
Have you ever been interested in someone or hooked up with someone because of who they were and you weren't fully attracted to them?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Well.
Should I drop it?
Yeah.
Tana. Back in 2019, Tana. Sorry, I had to say it.
We love Tana here.
I saw that you just did a thing with Tana.
So you slept with Tana just because you had the opportunity to sleep with Tana?
Yeah.
It only gets worse from there because he went on to explain his answer and he kept digging himself the biggest hole ever, and he made himself look like a giant a-hole. And he even acknowledges that it sounds douchey, but he just kept on going.
That sounds so douchebaggy. Let me rephrase that. We were feeling each other, but I knew who she was, obviously, and I was like an up-and-coming guy. And then I did whatever was humanly possible to put myself in that scenario.
For what motive, though? What were your motives?
I was like, I want to do it to say I can't. I say I did it.
Got it. Yeah. That's not nice.
The whole situation of him being with Tana gets described as a business transaction, but Zach, he was not having this. He was gonna say something.
I'm gonna say something. I've been on the receiving end of a transaction where somebody only wants to like hook up with you or you know, fuck or whatever, solely because they're like interested because they just know you, not because of any other reason.
I was low-key a fan.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
that's...
Yeah.
But are you okay with that? You're okay with meeting somebody for the first time, not really actually meeting them for the first time?
Yeah.
I lose sleep over that.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Which is definitely just not, it's just, that's one of the things that James Charles, if you guys remember, he was getting called out for this. Obviously, aside from the whole age thing, people were like, you just shouldn't date fans because there's a giant power imbalance there, and it's a weird situation. And Zach was certainly trying to explain to him why stuff like this keeps him up at night, that if he goes out with someone and they like might already know who he is, he just doesn't like that. And he was high-key speaking some facts, trying to explain why it's weird to get with fans to Bryce.
You don't think that just kind of means like, hey, I'm cool?
Yeah, no. It is in one way very validating, but in another way, it's hard to build personal, genuine connections because ultimately you're always working against somebody's idea of you.
But then you can miss the small talk.
So clearly, those two are not seeing eye to eye on that one. But this whole thing was just so horrible because, I mean, it's not like he hooked up with her and then they were never talking again and he's just suddenly bringing this whole situation up. I mean, obviously that's still so bad, but it's just even worse because him and Tana are friends and he's just admitting this. Like, what? This whole thing was just so much worse to everyone because of that. And the fact that Tana has really talked highly of Bryce, especially in the last few years, and they've made a ton of content together. And there was a point in time where people were even shipping them because they liked them together. And she was just being super supportive of him. And let's not forget about how much promo Tana brought to Bryce when Bryce was doing his fight with Austin McBroom, because there was that video that went viral of Tana and she was like, we team Bryce out here on God.
Sorry about that.
It's not my beef, but you know, we team Bryce out here. That's right. Even the paparazzi team Bryce on God.
That was such a time, and the two of them were blowing up. So people were just so disappointed to see him say this stuff about her in this episode. And the comment section was just filled with people wanting to stand up for Tana, saying, what a low blow. You didn't have to say that about Tana. That was icky. Had grown a lot of respect for Bryce until this interview. Tana didn't deserve that. Disgusting. Bryce being disrespectful towards Tana as if she isn't majorly out of his league. That comment about Tana really pissed me off. Very unnecessary and mean. Tana ended up responding to this situation on her own canceled podcast, where she quite literally could not believe, like the rest of us, that Bryce would willingly admit this information out loud on a podcast.
Bryce, I have fought for him so hard.
You put him on the map.
Oh God, I have fought for him so hard. And I'm going through my timeline the other day, and I see this video. Amari, you are going to be floored. Like, you couldn't waterboard that out of me.
And he just freely said it. In fact, Zach didn't even ask him to elaborate, and he goes, I should say it. He goes, I should say it, Tana.
Bryce. And never once has Bryce said this to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, anytime Bryce brings up,
Well, I sure hope not. Imagine somebody came to you and said, I actually just fucked you for the clout. I would jump off.
Tana admits that the comments on the video have basically done her job for her because they were defending her so hard, but she just still couldn't believe that he would say such a thing. And Tana says that, you know, had she actually liked Bryce, like had a crush on him and had these real feelings for him and all that stuff, and it wasn't just some like casual hookup, she would be really hurt by his words. And luckily it was only that casual hookup, because imagine if she actually liked him and had feelings for him and then he went and said this. I mean, what a slap in the face.
I guess if I like was into him or liked him or like anything like that, you know what I mean, at that time or ever, like, you know what I mean, if I had a crush on him, then I probably would be like super heartbroken. So it's not like there's a part of me that's like sad that he said that, but imagine it was like a boy I liked and talked to.
Yeah, I can't imagine like somebody that I'm into saying that, and oh my God.
Like, that's
but just so much nerve.
And then Bryce texts me like 4 days ago, like, hey, poker tournament at my house. Do you want to come? Like, what's up, Tana? Come over. Like, just like, doesn't
read the room.
He really just be saying just like, Bryce.
And on the Zach Sang show.
I just can't. I can't believe he said that.
Now, last week, the BFFs podcast did bring this up, and they were talking about the fact that Tana has said that she's, you know, hooked up with people and she's clout chased and all this. And Dave wasn't really feeling bad for her because of the situation. And Mads Lewis was on the podcast and she was feeling for Tana.
That was kind of fucked up of Bryce to say.
Why? Tana says that all the time.
If somebody said they slept with me for clout, I would get really upset.
But I mean, Tana says that. Like, she was on BFFs being like, I clout farm and people for clout.
Harry Jowsey actually just put me onto the term clout farming. A lot of my images, you know, dating other celebrities, hooking up with other celebrities. I don't know why I'm beating around the bush. It's literally the
right. Yeah.
That's just low as a person.
That's LA.
Not everyone.
I do think that it's way worse though when you're saying that you weren't attracted to the person and then proceed to name drop them as well, because that's just mean. But Tana did touch on this in her podcast and said that she's clout chased and such. She wasn't denying that, but she just would never say something like Bryce has because it just sounds so bad.
As someone who has also probably slept with someone,
At
just
least
so
lie.
I can say I did it, I would never come on a podcast and say that because I would be afraid of how bad that would make me look.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just such a mess, like the biggest mess ever, honestly. And I can't believe that this is all just, I can't believe that he said this. And I certainly want to know what you guys think about this. And how do you feel about the fact that Dave was not feeling sorry for her at all? I think when it comes to Tana, I think that, you know, she has been with people for clout, but at the same time, she's liked those people. You know what I mean? Like, everybody that she's kind of clout chased and like dated, she did like have a relationship with them, or, you know, she did actually like seem to like them a lot, especially with Jake. That was a fake relationship, but it became very real for her. And there were a ton of videos that she was posting at the time, really sad and depressed, because she did end up like really falling for Jake, and it was still very much only for clout for him, but it wasn't for her. And so I don't know. I think that this situation is just not it. It's just not it. And in terms of like comparing the two, I definitely think what Bryce is saying is worse than Tana joking about, you know, having been with people and been known for that. Because I feel like there's also a difference between being known for hooking up with celebrities and like only hooking up with people and then like admitting that you were never attracted to them. Because I feel like everyone Tana's been with, she's literally said she was attracted to them, at least at that time. But anyway, let me know all your thoughts in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.